Hello and welcome to a new episode of GrowthFit interview series by CustomFit.ai. CustomFit is a no-code website personalization platform that enables marketers and sales professionals to customize website content within just 3 steps. Download the Chrome plugin, customize your website content, and generate shareable links. Today we have with us Maurice Beerthuizen. He's joining us from Amsterdam. He's a CRO expert and Director of Marketing and Sales at ClickValue, which is a conversion optimization agency fully focused on sustainable online growth. Welcome, Maurice. We are so excited that you joined us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
So Maurice, take us through your journey so far in conversion rate optimization. We would like to hear what are the highlights of your journey, what have been the highlights of your journey, what prompted you to take up this field, and what keeps you going.
Yeah, that's a pretty long journey because I'm almost CRO for 20 years, even before it was named CRO. I started around 2000 at the Dutch insurance company. And they asked me, could you build a new professional website because we haven't one? And yeah, I was into online, almost by accident because the marketer, the Department of Mortgages asked me, could we sell mortgages via internet? So I started the research and I discovered that the website of the insurance company wasn't that mature. And then they said, okay, you probably know how to do it. So you have 2 IT developers on your team and start creating a new website. And so based on 2000, no one was mature. Internet was a really IT kind of thing. I always compare it with blockchain at this moment, but blockchain is also now very IT-like, and no one actually knows what it is and what you can do with it. And with the internet in 2000, it was the same. So no one actually knows how to create a good website. So we just started and discovered and make a lot of failures, but also make a lot of discoveries. And so my story started. I worked for the insurance company and also for some Dutch banking for about 10 years. And then I started a conversion agency with 2 other guys in the Netherlands. I did that for 6 or 7 years. I had the feeling I had to learn a lot more on myself at CRO. So I sold my stocks and I started as a freelancer after that. And now I had the feeling it was time to step in an agency again. And for a year I'm part of the ClickValue team and back in the agency world. So it's already a long time in optimizing websites.
That was interesting. So I think you have seen the internet and the digital marketing field evolve, right?
Yeah.
From the start.
Yeah. Really. In the beginning at 2000, Google even didn't exist. We just started with some information what was out of the server park when we could see some data which people come into our internet server, and then which go out. And what we did in the beginning was a lot of research. There was a Dutch agency, Matrix Lab. They do a lot of online research. They're now a big company worldwide, but then they were just in a small office in Rotterdam, and we were one of the first customers. But they helped us with a lot of information because based on the online, the pop-ups, which are almost on every website at this moment, we asked people how old they were, from which region they came, what was their intention of the visit, did they succeed in the visit. And at that moment, that was our analytics, our Google Analytics. In that case, we started to know why visitors visited our website by just asking them. So that was a nice thing to start learning visitors and their intention and behavior. And yeah, of course, later on, Google Analytics came, and then when I joined the agency, I started with 2 other companions. Yeah, at that moment, we just really started with the beginning of CRO, and that was about in 2009. That was really the beginning in the Netherlands of CRO and starting with some very simple A/B test and stuff. So yeah, there's the whole evolution of becoming and optimizing websites. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, was there a few restraints or few restrictions in adaptability of CRO in this space?
You mean then or at this moment?
Then especially.
Still the case now for a lot of companies, but then people. When I was on the birthday parties, I was explaining what's your job, what are you doing on a daily basis, and I started to explain CRO. They said, yeah, I know. I said, okay, they know. Yeah, it's SEO, SEA. No, it's not the same, and because a lot of companies started very early with campaigning and with the big banners on the website and stuff, and the flash banners and that kind of stuff. In the Netherlands, it was all campaign based, and improving a landing page or improving a product page. It took a long time to explain people why it's even maybe more important to improve your landing pages and your product pages when you buy in a lot of traffic and campaigning. I think now at this moment, I noticed that also a lot of small businesses in the Netherlands start having want to know more about CRO, have an interest in knowing CRO and in implementing CRO. Also, they are sometimes small businesses. So I think it's becoming more and more mature. But it took a long time. When I look back at when I started my first CRO agency at 2009, it took a long time for the adoption was there.
Okay. So tell us about ClickValue.
Yeah.
What differentiates it from other CRO agencies?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think when I look at the Netherlands, there are only a few kind of bigger CRO agencies. What differs us from others is I think we are very good in the CRO process. When a company is asking us to create a CRO program, we are very good in starting very fast and have the program on the run on a very short notice. And because before I was in, there was already a very smooth and good process, which took the ClickValue owners, I think, about maybe 8 or 10 years to create this really good process. They really thought about it very well, and now it's in every ClickValue consultant. It's in their minds. It's you can wake them up in the middle of the night and they know how the process is working and how they should start a program and should proceed the program and should create growth in a program. So I think we are very good at that point. And besides that, because we have from every discipline of CRO, designers, researchers, developers, analysts, copywriters, psychologists, from every discipline that touches CRO, we have a lot of experienced people in our team. So that also delivers a lot of very smart test ideas and good ideas for our customers.
Interesting. So we hear this very often from CRO experts that their work is all about trying out things, and then there are so many hits and misses in the process. So how
Mhm.
do you approach these successes and failures, and what are your learnings from them?
And you mean by success and failure, you mean the end result of an experiment? Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually don't call them wins and failures. We call them wins and loss prevention. Because when you call it a failure, it's often that it's a mistake. But when you run experiments, yeah, of course you can win. And then a lot of people say AI, and when it's not a success, you lose. But with our customers, we are more and more working with product teams, and product teams, they have a lot of time they have on board development people and kind of design UX people, and they together they invented a new innovation or an optimization of their product, and then the designer develops a solution and the developer implements it on the website. And with a lot of customers we now working at, we are joining those product teams, and we are adding research and validation to that process. Because when it's an innovation and you want to test if it's working for your clients, and you run a test and you see it doesn't create a better user experience for your clients. Yeah, is it a failure or is it loss prevention because you prevented loss because you tested it for now, let's say 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and you see, okay, it didn't work out like we expected. We created a beautiful design, but our customers didn't click on the visual or on the banner or on the call to action, and they didn't convert as we expected. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board, and that's I think that's because of the prevented loss. It isn't a failure. It's a good insight, because otherwise it would have been live and implemented maybe for years, and then you implemented something which created loss in your business case. So we always talk about wins and loss prevention, because that's really the case. We create a better business case, but we prevent also loss in your business case. So it's really that approach what we like in joining with product teams.
I think that gives us a new perspective to think about failures, right? Especially in the CRO space, that they are mostly about preventing the losses that could occur in future.
Yeah, because when you really talk about failures and something is responsible for a certain experiment, then there's a big chance he wouldn't take any risk, because he said, okay, when it's a losing test, it's a failure, and then they blaming me. So wait, we don't take any risk. We do a average test, so it's okay. But sometimes with product teams, you see they have very good ideas on innovations, and then you really should take a risk when you say okay, we have an innovation, we totally change the proposition of our product. Let's give it an example. And it's totally different with the product that already exists, but let's give it a try. Based on the failure proposition, you said, but then it's a failure maybe. Should we really do that? But based on the experiment approach, you say, okay, let's give it a try. And when it don't work, we learned that this wasn't the right way. Back to the drawing board, start over again. There are a lot of companies who have nowadays the failure Fridays or something, and then they share failures with each other, because failure is not bad. It's a learning point, and that's I think that's very true. But you should also add it in your experiment program. Failure is not something to be ashamed about. You should learn from that and then go back to the drawing board and try it over again and learn how did it become a failure, and how can we improve the concept.
Yeah, that's so true. So coming to website optimization, when you begin with a project and you have to start with optimization efforts on the website, what are the few things that you begin with? What is your approach in beginning the website optimization?
Yeah. Most times we start with a job completion survey. And the way it works is that we start with a normal survey on a website on certain pages, and we just ask the visitor what was their goal of their visit and are they having success in their goal, and are they achieving that goal. When we do that first survey, after that we could create some top tasks out of the first survey, and in the second one we combine the Google Analytics with the survey tool. So we see at which page people are naming what they are doing, but then we can follow them in analytics to see if they actually are doing what they are telling us and if they succeed in their approach. And based on that job completion survey, we can easily notice at which pages are the most failures and which pages have, based on traffic and conversion, have the biggest impact for the company. And then we can choose and see where are the biggest user problems and start with optimizing there. We always try to start with optimizing on pages which have the biggest impact for the company. And that's quite logical, because when we start and so the company, they accept hopefully failure, but they want success. So when we start, for instance, at a small page with where we can improve a lot, but hasn't got that much impact on conversion or on the business case, that's not the wisest thing to start. So we always check which has the biggest impact to start, and there we start. And then the job completion survey is a nice way of discovering user problems. And that's the kind of way we do this.
So I understand you start with a lot of research, right? Your planning goes around the research.
Yeah, that's a good remark. It's the job completion survey is not the only thing we do. We do indeed start with a lot of research. We have a lot of very experienced researchers, and they have a whole toolkit full of research possibilities. And based on the research, we creating opportunities. The opportunities, they can evaluate in A/B tests and analysis of the A/B test. Yeah.
Okay. So you must have dealt with so many websites and user journeys. So according to you, what are those biggest hurdles that a visitor faces on the website?
Biggest hurdles? Yeah, a good question. There could be a lot. I think you have some in marketing some pyramids of behavior, and I don't know them by head, but it all starts with also started with bugs and the 404 errors and stuff. We notice that we have a lot of customers. We start when we do a good check and good audit on the website. We see in the beginning a lot of bugs. You click on a button and it doesn't work, or you are forwarded to a page it doesn't exist and giving you a 404. And before we even start with the first A/B test, we think that the bugs and mistakes should be out. Also, a common mistake is that the speed of a lot of websites is really underperforming. So when you want to run an A/B test and you have a very slow web page, you can A/B test 20, 40 times, but when it's really slow, that's for a lot of people, it's the main reason to skip the journey, because they are all of us are in a hurry. We want to purchase very quickly, even when you are in retail or are in energy or mobile telephone business. So when you have a slow website, that's one of the main reasons you won't convert that much. But it's also we also check out, of course, basic usability stuff. And sometimes we say, okay, we see your website, and based on our experience, yeah, okay, we could test if, for instance, you have the call to action on a mobile page really under the fold. You have to scroll for an hour to come there. Okay, we can test with a call to action or a sticky call to action on the mobile page. But sometimes we say, when we have a lot of opportunities, we say, okay, just fix it. Because we only can spend a certain amount of money on the start of a program. We have to choose, but just fix it, because we know that when a call to action is all on the bottom, and you don't have a call to action on a mobile phone up front or as a sticky one, yeah, that's the reason this page isn't converting. So sometimes you say, okay, just improve it, usability, bugs, but then yeah, you also have some issues a lot of time with proposition. One of the main things what gives failure on people visiting a website is they simply don't know the brand. They come on a website and you say, okay, we have a marvelous product, just buy it with us. But people say, who are you? I don't know you. Are you reliable, or are you, maybe you are a fake website? So when you are just not that on top of mind with brand awareness with people, you have to create ratings and reviews. Maybe you have a physical retail shops in the city, so say that you have a lot of shops and that you are reliable and that you exist for more than 40 years or whatever. Create trustworthiness on your website. When you are in a branch with a lot of competition and you are the highest in price, for sure that's one of the main reasons that people are comparing price and say, okay, you are the highest in price, I go to the cheaper one. So it's not always usability or that you don't have a fluid checkout. Sometimes it's a combination of proposition, pricing, your position in the market, how well you know people know you, your brand, and that combination, and that's what I always say, that CRO isn't only a marketing thing, because when we see that the proposition you're not that well known, then we have to get in contact with the communication department and other departments to create a better brand awareness, for example, and then it could be solved just by the CRO department. Also, other departments has to be part of the solving the problem. So so could be a lot of things that what could go wrong, but based on our experience, we know that it just isn't always just the website. It's the total the total environment you're in with your brands and with your products.
Right. I really liked the point that you mentioned about reliability, that when users come onto the website, they're also looking for some proof, let's say social proof, to understand how reliable the company is and the reviews. So what we do at CustomFit, we have also been trying out few things with our clients. When a visitor comes to a particular page, let's say it's an e-commerce, or let's say it's an edutech company where the student is coming to look for relevant courses. So with website personalization, we create a variation of these reviews and testimonials. So the student gets to see testimonials and reviews which are relevant to his location and his courses, the products that the visitor is looking for. So what is your take on personalizing this kind of content on the website?
Yeah, I think it's a very good thing to do. I think we are talking about almost 10 years about personalization. Everybody thinks it's needed, but nobody actually knows how to handle it.
That's so true.
Yeah, but I think the thing with personalization is that a lot of time people want to start in the most mature phase because they think, okay, well, then I have to do a one-on-one personalization and then it's going to be a success. But in my opinion, personalization approach is the same as a CRO approach. For instance, when we start with a new customer, and the customer has the ability to, for example, run 10 tests a month, but they just starting with optimization and they are not that experienced. We just don't start with the 10 tests because we also want to learn the people into the organization how experimentation is working for them and how also it's benefiting their business. And it's the same with personalization. When we start with a personalization program, we think it's the next step in maturity based on CRO. So we first have to do the normal basic A/B test and stuff. Then we see patterns with the intent of the user, how they are clicking. Oh, we see that the elder people are needed more text and more content to understand the product, and the younger ones are moving much quicker to the funnel. Then we say, okay, based on age, we could start some first A/B test to try, is this working? Is the elderly target group performing better when we provide them more content? This is a simple example. But we just start with a small test, just learning, and then move on. And so it's, and we do the same with CRO. When you start with a big program with a lot of budget in it, and but only a few people into the company who really understand it, it's a big risk, because when there's the failure again, they say, oh, you cost us 50,000 euros a month, but it doesn't work. It's we go to another tool or another we do some other marketing stuff. So we learn and we try to adapt CRO into the organization, and it's the same with personalization. Don't start on the highest maturity level. Just start with 1, 2, 3 simple tests. Is personalization working for that target group? Okay, then we move on, and then we move further. I think that's the approach that works the best for both CRO and personalization.
That's great.
Be patient.
Yeah, right. So, so when you have so many people in your team, and let's say it's a big project, so there must be so many ideas for experimentation coming on board, right? So how do you generate these ideas, and then how do you prioritize them?
We always work with the usual Kanban boards, and then we have, based on our processes, starting with research, then doing a solution design, then create a validation plan, which is very important, because that's how the designer is briefing the developer what is the design about and which points in the design should be measured in the A/B test, so the developer can build in new buttons or new links, so we can measure them in the test. Then the developer starts, and then after running the test, it's evaluated by our web analyst. So, and that's in roughly the way we created a Kanban board. On the Kanban board there's also a backlog, and in the beginning the backlog is mostly filled by the CRO specialist of the company combined with our researchers. But when the program is becoming more mature, we always try to onboard more and more departments within that company, and we always support them when they have ideas to put the ideas on the backlog. So, and then based on we have a prior method. It's the ICE method. You probably know it's impact, confidence, and easiness of the solution within the whole team and all people who are on board, also product owners or developers from company side. We make a prioritization, and based on that we are choosing the next test. but sometimes, there is a product innovation, and there's a big campaign coming up, and it's important that the landing page of that new product is created very smoothly, and it's working very nice. Sometimes, that's moving in, and then there's a business. The business thinks it's very important that we start with improving the landing page, and sometimes that runs in as well. So we have our prioritization, but we are always aware that some departments or a CEO or a very important manager has own prioritization, and sometimes it comes in. It's always a matter of really good hearing and understanding which way the business wants to move up, and then we adapt in the wishes of the company. So it's both sides up.
I think it's very important to keep the idea space decluttered, right? Otherwise, there can be so many ideas flowing in, and it will be difficult to prioritize.
Yeah, what we always try to do, but within some companies, people really like the backlog, and they fill it with tens of ideas, and sometimes the idea is not, with respect, not that good idea. So, but we always try to have the communication with the owner of the idea and try to explain why this wasn't a good idea, or say, okay, I think we need more research, or sometimes say, okay, we already tested this and implemented, so check this ticket and you see what we already did. Maybe when you have some extra points on that, please help us. But we always try to be as kind as possible to help people, because it's a very I think it's very good that the more employees have ideas about how to improve their website and their business, the better it is. And so I think it's a very nice thing. But if some companies, it's a real challenge to keep a good backlog, because sometimes 10 of maybe 100 ideas on it, and you have to keep a good sight on it to keep the backlog kind of healthy.
Do you rely on any tools for your experimentation or collaboration?
We need the usual suspects, of course, the analytics kind of tools. We are lately, and we are always very objective towards tools. So when we start with a company, we always ask, which tools do you have on board? And a lot of times they already have their own tooling, and then we just adapt and work with their tools. No problem. We know all the usual suspects we know. What we see lately, that a lot of companies start working with the full story and content square like tools. I don't know if you know the brands, but they are how can I say it easily? More the easy low entry Google Analytics kind of tools. They combine the metrics with heat and click maps, with exit and kind of surveys. So it's a one-in-all tool with a lot of possibilities. And I see a lot of companies starting working with those tools, especially what I just was mentioning, when there is a company where a lot of departments are starting doing their first experiments, not as a central CRO department, but different product owner teams start with experimentation. They're not all very Google Analytics savvy or know different tools, but then in that case, Full Story and Content Square are really good tools which help them in a very simple way to get insights on the pages they manage. Of course, Hotjar is always still in with a lot of companies. It's not a tool, but we always like to have a close contact with the customer service, when you want to know what's happening within a company and what's going well or less well, and where are the most complaints. And customer service is a great entry, which they have a lot of mostly the most customer contact and heard the most complaints. So that's a nice one. That's not a tool, but it's a nice entry. And of course, when we use a lot of testing tools like VWO, like Optimizely, Google Optimize, and we use a lot of special survey tools like, for instance, Get Feedback. But it's always the customer who's in charge of that. When the customer says we have a great tool set, now, okay, we just adapt and start working with that. And when they ask, oh, we really have no idea, help us, then of course we advise them. But we don't purchase tools for customers. It's always on the customer side. They are responsible for their own tooling. We could advise them. That's
okay.
Yeah.
So, being an expert in CRO for so many years, I think you must be prioritizing, keeping up with the latest in the industry. So, what are the few blogs or few influencers that you follow, or you would suggest others to follow?
Okay, that's a good question. There are the most people I follow and I read the blogs. It's not just the blog, but I read a lot of posts on LinkedIn, and there are a lot of good CRO specialists who have almost on a daily basis good information on LinkedIn. One of them is from England, is Johnny Longden. It's a very he always has very nice blog posts.
Well, it's interesting, Morris. He had joined us for a previous episode a couple of weeks back.
He has always a good vision on CRO. You also have Manuel da Costa. He's also very in the organization of CRO. That's also the part where I'm mostly interested and working on how to start grow in the whole organization, not only on a typical CRO department. He has always very good posts. Which you have David Mannheim, who has a lot of nice posts. Rich Page, who has also a lot of good of usability and Google Analytics tips and tricks. So but I use that. That's I think also the evaluation of how you are getting your information. It used to be blogs and reading blogs, but now I'm mostly on LinkedIn, and because I follow those people and I like their posts a lot, and it creates that I see more and more of their posts, and it's really insightful and good information.
I think LinkedIn is buzzing with a lot of information related to content optimization these days. So, a new marketer in this field, what would you suggest to them? Where should they look for some good advice? Or is there any good advice that you think you wish you had got early in your career as a marketer or CRO?
Yeah, you mean when someone is just starting in
for a budding
in general or in a CRO perspective?
Well, in the CRO perspective.
When someone thinks, oh, CRO that's a nice part of marketing, and I want to join it and I want to learn. I think the most nice way to start and to have knowledge, apart of reading blogs, but that's also very then you read it, but how it's working in real life, that's a different. I think that's different. But I would, when someone really wants to make a career in CRO, you should start or with an agency, a CRO agency, just learning all the stuff and could listen to all the experts within that agency and learn how it works, or within a company where CRO is very mature and where you can also learn from the experts within the company, because I see a lot of young folks starting a as a CRO freelancer, for instance, and they sometimes they learn themselves the wrong habits. So they don't exactly know how long a test should run, how to evaluate the test, and they read some blog posts and think, okay, I can do it. But I sometimes do some reviews, and then companies ask me, we have some young guy on board, and he's running tests, but we don't exactly know if it's working well. And sometimes it really, I'm really surprised what they advise the business. And then you see a lack of knowledge. So that CRO is hard to learn, because it's not only understanding statistics or understanding analytics or understanding user behavior, it's also understanding the position of the company, and what I earlier explained with the proposition, the awareness of the brand. It's CRO should be in the heart of an organization, because you're trying to influence or optimize the website and influence the customer to make better choices, and you have to be you have to know the intent of the customer. Why is he choosing for A and why not for B, and what's the reason after that? So it's CRO is really a scientific approach of improving website and customer behavior. That's not learned in 3 or 4 blog posts or 3 or 4 online courses. Really need to repeat, do a lot of research, learn from your colleagues, make that failure, accept that it was a failure, start over again, and then after a few years, you gain that experience. I think that's the most important tip. Join a company where you can learn from others. That's the fastest way to adopt CRO knowledge and experience.
So I think in a nutshell, I can say that there can be no replacement to actually doing those things and learning from experience, right? It's not just about reading a few blogs or books and try to.
No, true. And I think, that's with the most of jobs we have. And when you apply for a job and it's new for you, most of the time you learn from your colleagues. There's
Exactly.
I think very few jobs where you just learn from a book or from a blog post. So your experienced colleague is your best friend in these.
So true. So with that, we have come to the end of this session. It was very interesting, and I learned a lot of things. Hopefully our listeners, our audience have also learned a lot of things. So I think my biggest takeaway from this conversation is the perspective about prevention of loss and keeping patience in the process. And when you said that CRO is the heart of the organization, I so totally agree with it. I think a lot of things depend on CRO, provided that it's executed in a good way, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Morris, for joining us.
Welcome.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation
really.
as much as we did.
Nice conversation, and I hope the listeners and the viewers are learning some new stuff on it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Morris. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.